All right, guys and gals, this is Northman. We are back with some more Tarkov. This time around, we're going to be checking out Raid Episode 5, just kind of going through impressions, stuff like that. So let's go ahead and get this rolling. Big thing here is the Raid series is all set before Tarkov. Great for lore. If you want to get more lore, though, you should definitely look at the book series and whatnot. You can get it actually on the Tarkov website and find out a lot about the backstory. Further backstory, obviously, in the quest, some other information you're finding there. But getting into it, so previous raids, raid episodes 1 through 4, kind of built up this dogfight that went down between the bears and the USECs. The bears are here looking for a previous team of bears that went in, and this USEC is the survivor of the USEC troop that they run into. Discover that the bears got killed in a fight in the labs area against this squad of USECs. Mike here, who's the USEC, actually was involved in that. And this individual, Skiff, he's actually a teammate to that original team of bears that went in. He got kind of pulled, left behind because his partner actually is pregnant. So this case, there's a few tidbits where it's starting to seem like we may have some more quests related to Terror Group and getting information of what kind of bioweapons they were using. This would be really awesome, actually, to kind of develop the game a little bit further and get us more information as far as all that goes. I know I personally would love to see some quests related to labs. I don't play a lot of labs, but I think it would be awesome to have even a fetch quest would be cool. But really, I was thinking more along the lines of like a hidden area or something, because we do see a few spots in labs that relate to this video. And this, we don't really know for sure where it is. It kind of reminds me of the weather station on Shoreline. However, the terrain and everything just doesn't quite match up. We do get to see some NVG action here, using the monocular as a monocular. Kind of interesting here on Skiff's part. He no longer has a helmet, so obviously he can't do anything. Actually, I don't think he ever had a helmet in any of the raid series so far. He's dialing Mike into the sniper position, and there's a miscommunication happens in game. I think they were trying to give a little nod to players who play as a USEC Bear squad, and it's kind of interesting as far as how they played it. It makes it really funny. It's a nice little break, actually, of the seriousness of the raid episodes. You get a little kind of relief, and then also the actual merchant guards are actually also making jokes during this. It's interesting. Boris is one of the guys here, supposedly. And then you got Gorka the sniper. These are guys who actually work for the merchant seen in previous raid episode, and they try to pull a fast one on Skiff and kind of yoink him a little bit around to get what they want without actually giving him anything. They were planning on killing him here, and it didn't work, obviously, because he pulled Smike. We get to see some action here with a Glock, and it's suppressed. Looks like a tac light as well, last tech too. And then the merchant's trying to get a hold of him, can't get a hold of him. So there's some interesting tidbits coming up. It's a very interesting little scene, and I think it's important to kind of keep your eyes on the details throughout the rated series, and this is a good one to see difference in merchant information as well as some other stuff. They take a blue labs keycard off him too, which is interesting. So there may be new areas that the blue labs keycard opens up, but we don't know for sure. And this right here, okay, pausing there. So this one, the only character with a call sign other than Skiff possibly is Northman. And I actually, my channel obviously is Northman. I actually had the first video, which I'm popping up, of cultists for the new wipe. So my buddy and me kind of lost our shit at this. We don't know if this was a call out to that or not. If it was, that was awesome. If not, this is just an amazing coincidence that they're talking about the cult to a Northman character. But going on. Taz reference here may be a hint at a quest coming for Taz kills on scavs in your marked area or players. Who knows? Interesting thing too is you see the gear they're using. So Mike's using a suppressed Glock, and then I believe it's the SIG suppressor on it too. You don't ever get a great look at it, but there's the blue key card. And then Skiff lost a lot of his gear throughout the progression of Raid series. And the Raid series actually references back to the original trailers of Tarkov, which is really cool. They kind of bring it full circle there. Skiff actually survives some crazy shit as far as all of what goes on in the Raid series. And then Mike is the USEC from the original trailer who pulls a fast one and kills the bears using his Glock in factory. Skiff in episode 2 or 3, I believe, he actually had his gun taken apart by Boris's men, or Boris specifically. And then here they're approaching something that kind of looks like CCP. We don't know for sure, again, where this is. This may be related to Reserve or somewhere else. But we see a pretty well-maintained army at this point. And this, again, is all before the events of Tarkov. And here we get to see Mike being his weird self. He likes to make things a little more awkward. He probably gets the title of most awkward person in Tarkov. Honestly, he's a strange man. So, there is something interesting goes on here. So the keycard doesn't really work, and some other shit seems to be needed. So there's a lot of, not much speculation, but a lot of random speculation as to the blue key card being used for other areas, or key cards not working occasionally. I think this is more just for suspense, but pretty cool to see. They kind of build some drama. And it's important to note that Nikita and I think 3 other individuals were the writers of this. So it's a really small-knit team. Nikita's brainchild, and he's super involved in it, making sure that it is everything that he had planned for it and wanted for it, and it ties in directly with all the lore and everything of Tarkov. It also references a game quite frequent, a browser-based game called Contract Wars, and that interesting thing that people have been wondering about is you have Terror Group employees here who take the key card but don't take the case. They look at it and they just kind of shrug it off. So there's a thought that there's going to be different factions of Terror Group, or it's just low-level guys who don't know what's going on. It'd be interesting to see if we're going to start seeing multiple factions within Terror Group and how the lore kind of develops there. Because what starts to happen coming up gets really, really sketchy really fast. And right here, I'm going to pause. So if you look at this, this is kind of interesting. So this is one of the views that makes people think this was CCP. However, the tent setup is slightly different, and the tank is a little bit more barricaded in, more like what we're seeing as far as what happens in Reserve. I don't believe the mound is quite set up similar. On the shoreline map, I'll pop up a photo so you can see the difference. So we're seeing a lot of similar gear to what's actually in Tarkov. You're seeing 6B47s right here. And I believe that was a floral pattern. MK3 rig on Mike as well. So they really tied it in. Even down to the beanies that they are wearing during this entire series. USEC wearing USEC. So interesting thing here is no one questions the scavs having a suppressed weapon here. And it's very apparent that this is normal. They get a lot of attacks. You can see the damage to the walls, and they don't really freak out and abandon posts or anything. They stay coordinated. And then it starts getting fairly loud. Interesting here is they say scavs don't have mortars, so I wonder how did they get those mortars? It's a question that will be answered in a minute. So this is the actual introduction to the Black Division from Contact Wars. It's been a lot of talk about, are they the next faction coming into Tarkov? It'd be awesome if they are, and honestly, I would love it, because this is... It's like Raiders on steroids and then jacked to 10. Yeah, they are insane. They've got the best gear, everything. They're USEX. They're kind of like USEX big boy tier 1 faction. They work in interesting units, but they're also kind of like your Green Beret style, where they work within local forces and really like build up a local force. So what we're seeing here is they actually provide the mortars and then bring about a scav army, which I think if we have events related to it, it'll be awesome. So if you're watching here, this is Black Division, and you see, I think 3 backpacks just got dropped right there. 2 backpacks, sorry. So throw back to the actual game mechanic, double tap Z, and you lose your bag and go a little lightweight. So another interesting thing was, as they're moving in, you're seeing a difference in gear. So they're not all using GPN V18s. Excuse me. There is a couple other variants of night vision. Possibly even the T7 thermals, which would be interesting. But then comes the scav army. So the theory here is the bags actually had explosives in them, and they blew it, opened up the door, allowed scavs in. Hard to really tell for sure, but it looks like approximately the right location. And now we're getting the PKM. So this is actually going to be a belt fed from backpack weapon that a boss scav is going to have. They've already announced it. We've seen a few images, I believe, that were leaks early on development, and it's gonna be interesting because it will be quite the interesting thing to fight, just because of how they implemented Killa. I imagine we're gonna see a more static individual, or at least I hope. If they give them Killa sprints and a PKM, I think we're all gonna lose our shit, meaning gear. And then we have the Dishka scene. So now this is 12.7 millimeter heavy machine gun. Very interesting weapon, really awesome. Mike calls out the destroys helicopters. It's actually been in use since World War II, so it's been around longer than helicopters, and it's been taking them down since day one, essentially. Kind of an insane weapon, and it's going to be interesting to see finally implemented into Tarkov and get a very awesome heavy. Interesting thing here is, so Mike and Skiff are really trying to get to safety, and this Dishka don't care. Also blows through vehicles, so possible pen power in the future, which is a mechanic they've been talking about. The interesting thing is you do see it blow through the engine block. So I know Nikita was saying the engine block would protect you. This has been called for like nonstop on the Reddit discussion. Is water's wet as a actual call out voice line, and it would be really interesting if we can get like response lines and everything set up. You do see the grenade launcher get used here, and then our 2 heroes, somber music, and we find out that they have actually been struck. So the Black Division is going to be an interesting faction if we actually get to see them be used. Just for the fact that, one, they are very aggressive as far as lore goes, and also they will use scav armies to their advantage anytime they can. Best gear in the game would be probably coming from them, and then with all of this other stuff that they've been building up within this, it'd be interesting to see how that actually could be used for events. So if you go and you have a fetch mission where you have to pick up the case in labs, and then you have to deliver it somewhere else, and when you go to deliver it, it triggers the Black Division to attack. Be a pretty cool event, and honestly, I think that would be like one of the kind of events that would be best suited for Tarkov, like to introduce, especially if it's like you have to go to Shoreline at night and deliver to CCP, and it automatically makes you spawn on the other side of Shoreline. It would be very interesting. And it's like an item you can't gamma, obviously, because it would be a fetch item. Skiff asks who the fuck they are, and they don't give a shit. Blackbird, I believe it, they refer to him, just triple taps and walks away. Which actually you only hear him shoot twice, but it looked like 3 hits. So I may have misremembered that. Anyways, Raid Episode 5 was super interesting to see. A whole bunch of little details from episodes 1 and 2 that no one thought were really related came about and built up to this really awesome climax to it. And then it kind of gets into more info on how Terror Group's really trying to prevent anyone from hearing about the events going on in Tarkov. So anyways, I know a lot of people have been doing videos like this, so I hope you guys appreciated my take, and I hope to catch you guys on the next one. Go ahead and hit subscribe if you're appreciating the guides and stuff and you want to see more of those. Let me know in the comments, and I'll catch you on the next one.